you guys? Welcome back to Lily Reads. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to talk about my 2023 book goals. I did this last year, and so I said, let's go through. Let's do it. I think that I'm setting a good foot forward this year. I think I'm choosing good goals. I think I'm choosing goals that are attainable, and I think I'm choosing goals that will make my reading experiences better, so we can get right on to this so we are not here all day. The first thing that I am going to do is use the library more, and I am not talking about Libby. I'm hit or miss with Libby. I am a woman who does not like to wait. I'm a woman who does not like to wait, and I'm so sorry. If I can just go get the audio book and not have to wait 6, 12, 14, 16 weeks for the audio book, I'm just going to go get it. Like, I cannot do that. I don't see how y'all do that. Some stuff, like, if it's not pressing, I will, but like if I really want to listen to an audio book at the time that I want to listen to, if it's more than a 6-week wait, it's a chop for me. And a lot of the books that I want to read are books that other people want to read. So like it's a chop, but I do think I probably will use Libby more this year, considering the fact that I'm going through a lot of my backlog. More on that later. So a lot of the books that I'm reading are going to be old. So maybe other people have already had their time with it and I can have my time. But baby, where I'm from, I don't know about your library, but my library, on an audiobook, you are going to be waiting 3 months. 3 months, and I ain't got time for that. So when I talk about using my library more, I'm actually not talking about Libby. I am talking about physically using my library. I am talking about grabbing my tote, getting in my Jeep, and driving to my library, picking up books, and coming back. I want 80% of the new books that I read this year to come from the library. All new releases I'm going to try to get at the library, and then releases that came out last year that I did not get my hands on, I'm going to get from the library. So really, I'm going to let the library dictate a lot of the things that I read this year, and that doesn't matter because last year I dictated all the stuff that I read and I had a bad reading year. So let's see if the library can do better. So if a book I like is available, I'm going to get it. I have 2 books right now that are on hold, and I need to go pick them up. So when I go, I'm going to get those 2 books. I'm going to see what they got in there that I didn't really see last time. And those are the books I'm going to read for the month if I'm not already reading the books that I own. When it comes to like new things, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not going out of my way to get my hands on new stuff or stuff that I don't already own. And that brings me to my next one. Buy only 2 books a month. Here's the thing. I am on social media. That's the thing a lot of people don't talk about. I guess if you like make content on social media, if you make book content on social media, it's part of like your job. Therefore, buying books is actually a tax write-off. Like you can use it in your taxes. So a lot of people who do buy books for their like channels, like they're actually like the money, yes, they're still spending the money obviously, but also spending the money helps them in other ways. It's a part of their business, you know? So it's not like this big, like huge, like, you know, this huge deficit that you get in by buying books, but still, even that, it's more so space for me. It's more so space for me. I like to compare it to someone who has a bunch of tattoos. Let's say you're like 20 and get like a bunch of tattoos. And then what if you want a bunch of tattoos when you're 40, but you don't have any more space for them? And like you're into new things. You're not into the same things that you were into 20 years ago. And you're like, wow, I wish I had space on my chest to get this new thing that I'm into. That's how I see my bookshelf. It's like, I want space for the new stuff I'm going to be obsessed with soon, you know? That's what I want to do. So I'm limiting myself to only buying 2 new books a month. And like, here's the thing. I've already figured out how I'm doing. I'm not counting the book club pick because the book club is always going to be the book club and I have to buy the book. But I did 2 subscription boxes. So I'm doing 2 subscription boxes. And those 2 subscription boxes, that's what I'm going to read. That's what, and everything else comes from the library. Next, get better at not reading hyped books. This happens every year. A book comes out. Everyone starts making videos about it. Everyone starts making videos about it. And I'm just like, I need it. People are giving it 5 stars. All of a sudden, it's so hype. And I'm like, I need to get my hands on it. Like, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Kenya, let it go. Let it go, because 9 times out of 10, like, you gonna read the book, you not even gonna like the book that much, and you just get to talk about how you didn't like the book. And like, a lot of people like to hear you talk about books that you don't like, but still, it's not worth it. I'm not relying on the hype this year. I'm gonna watch people's content, take it for what it is, content, and I'm gonna go about my goddamn day. I can't buy everything that everyone who I respect and loves. I can't buy everything that the people I love. I can't do it. The next thing is DNF. The literal theme of my channel in 2023 is DNF. At the end of the month, I want to be able to come to you and say, "Oh yeah, read this DNF. Oh yeah, read this DNF. Oh yeah, read this DNF. DNF. I'm not doing it anymore. Actually, I think we're already going to have our first DNF of 2023, because the book I'm reading right now is just not hitting on nothing. I'm gonna give it a little bit more. That's my problem. See, that's my problem. I be sitting up here and I'm just like, let me give it a little bit more. Maybe it'll work this time. It's not gonna work. I don't know. I just fear of missing out. I have this huge fear of missing out. That like, what if it does get good though? And it's like my favorite book of the year, but like that rarely happens. So what's the odds that this one is gonna be that way? I don't know. DNF. Next book is go do better at Instagramming. I want to be a book Instagram girly, but ooh, that's a full-time job. That is a full-time job, and I already have so many full-time jobs. I'm really hard on myself. Maybe people out there who are like that can relate to me. I always feel like I'm not doing enough. But then I look at myself, you guys, I run 3 full content things. This channel, as told by Kenya, and the Patreon. I run 3 things that are full-time things I have to make content for. Like, content for all time. But I just still feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, it's time to get into my Instagram era. That's why I quite literally can't take on TikTok. Like, I cannot. There's not enough Kenya. There's not enough Kenya, because not only do I want different things for each of those 3 things that I do, that takes time. It takes time to do all this. Like, I couldn't do TikTok if I wanted to. Because who gonna be on the video? Like, I just don't have the time. Maybe when things become more streamlined, I probably could. But like, I'm gonna do better at Instagramming though. I really, really am. The next thing is use my Kindle more. I got a Kindle for my birthday 2 years ago. And I need to use it more. I need to use my Kindle more. Oftentimes, if I want to read something on Kindle Unlimited, I'll read it on my phone. I'll read it, like, before bed, I'll pull out my phone and read on Kindle instead of actually using the Kindle. Like, it's a whole thing. The real times I get my use out of my Kindle is on vacation, because I'm not looking around a bunch of books on vacation. But on vacation is really when I get my use out of my Kindle, but I need to use it more. The next thing, my thriller era. I feel like when it comes to Black romance, I'm your girl. Like, you can ask me Black romance recommendations and I got you. Really, romance across the board. If it's not indie KU, that's none of my business. But like, when it comes to traditionally published romance, I'm your girl. Like, I can tell you like what's good, what's not good. Then if you make it even smaller, Black traditionally published romance, I got you. Then YA traditionally published romance, I can give you that shit. I want to be the same thing with thrillers. I want to be able to tell you what thriller authors are good, what thriller authors aren't, what I like about certain. I'm in my thriller era. I want 70% of the books I read this year to be thrillers. Am I in my thriller era? The next thing, short story era. I'm also going to be in my short story era this year. I think I love short stories and don't realize it yet. And so I want to enter my short story era. The next thing is up the scale of the Lily Reads Book Club. So I run the Lily Reads Book Club, and I kept the scale of the Lily Reads Book Club this year really small because it's all I literally could do. To show up for you guys, I literally had to make the scale as small as possible. But I want to blow it up. I want to have guest speakers. I want to have guest people on the panel. I want all of us to come together and start talking about books. So that is a huge thing for me this year, making it so that we all are participating in the book club conversation. So the scale of the Lily Lily Reads Book Club. I want to blow it up. I want to blow it up. The next thing that we have, give up on sci-fi and fantasy. I am giving up on sci-fi and fantasy. I read at least 10 sci-fi and fantasy books last year and liked 2 of them. And I liked 2 of them. I liked 2 of them enough, you know, where it's just like, okay, 2. And so sci-fi and fantasy, unless it's young adult, is not for me. Not young adult, I'm so sorry. Middle grade is not for me. I've decided I'm going to do sci-fi fantasy middle grade and nothing else. I am not going to reach for adult sci-fi or adult fantasy. It's just not for me, and that's fine. Next thing, I do want to read more lit fiction. I would say lit fiction I read the least of in 2022. I probably read the least amount of lit fiction last year than I had my entire life. Believe it or not, lit fiction used to be like my number 1 genre in reading. Like, that's what I gravitated towards. And like, I don't know, in 2022 and really in 2021, I just kind of ignored her. I want to get back into my lit fiction. All of these are my lit fix. And I never reach for nothing down there. I never reach for anything down there. And I need to, especially because if you look at my top 10 books of the year, like a few of them were lit fiction. You have How the One-Armed Woman Sweeps Her Porch. How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her Porch, her stairs or something. Then you got Sorrow and Bliss and The Dream House, which is not fiction, but it's literary. You know, it's literary. You have stuff. So I need to do that. Next thing. Read 5 memoirs. I want to read 5 memoirs. I had a good time with memoirs last year, and so I want to read 5 memoirs. The next thing is figure out my taste more. I want to do a better job at really figuring out my taste and know, like, I don't like this. For example, I hate stories about missing people. I do. And yet I still read stories about missing people. I need to be like, this is my taste, this is not. I don't like stories like thriller mysteries where a person is missing. I do not like it. It never ends the way I want it to end. It never like fulfills that itch I need scratched. Gotta let it go. Another thing that I do not like locked room mysteries where like everyone comes to like an island, someone dies thing, and like we have to figure out who did it. I like that more so in like a more theatrical sense than in a reading sense. I do not like that. I do not like it. And yeah, I have 2 books that I need to read right now that are that. And I was like, why did I buy it? I do not like little like locked room mystery, who did this one thing, unless it's my girl Agatha. I need to figure out my taste. Next thing is unhaul 3-star and lower books. If I give a book 3 stars or lower, it immediately is getting unhauled. It is immediately getting unhauled. There's no if, ands, go back. 3-star or lower, it gets unhauled. That's where I'm at. I want 80% of my reading this year to be on my bookshelf. So 20% can be new stuff that I don't already own, stuff from the library, but 80% of my reading this year is going to come from stuff that I already own, which means you guys are going to get a lot of videos on books that came out, which is usually what I do anyways. Read less romance. I want to read less romance this year. I'm not really in my romance era, so like read less romance. Yeah. I said, I love specific. I said, stop reading thrillers about missing people. Stop reading thrillers with social commentary. Here is the thing. I love social commentary and contemporary books. Contemporary books with social commentary, I love. Look at my top 10 books of last year. I love social commentary and contemporary books. There's something about a thriller with Black people where everyone is being racist or everyone is just being nasty because there's racist, or there's some secret white society that just hates Black people, or this secret neighborhood that hates Black people, that I can't do. I find it to honestly be stupid. Like, I'm trying to be now, but I find it honestly stupid. I want more thrillers with Black people that have nothing to do with them being Black. That have nothing to do with them being Black. Of course, being black can always play a part in the book, but I don't want people to be getting slashed and dashed just because they black. I don't find it interesting. There's no big like, ooh, but here's my message. I don't have a message for why I don't like that. I just don't like it. I would like a bunch of friends to go to a cabin and someone just doesn't like someone and starts killing everybody. That's what I want. That's what I want. I just want regular thrillers. I want regular thrillers. I want regular domestic thrillers. I just want a black family with a bunch of problems and something happens. Like, that's what I want. I am so tired of the get out effect. If I've said it once, I've said it too many times. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I would much rather read, like, because in a more contemporary sense, they're done better. They're more interesting in that way. We can actually talk about these topics, and we can actually talk about systemic racism in a way in which it deserves to be talked about. But in these thrillers, it's just like, white people are racist. Like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? No. Next one, I said, stop reading thrillers about murder on vacation, and that's exactly, I'm not. And then stop trying to complete series. I'm done with series. I'm not reading series anymore. I am absolutely done with reading series. But anyway, that is the end of this one. Those are my bookish goals for 2023. Tell me some of your bookish goals down below. And shout out to Sydney, who I met in Battery. Hello to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. And